information.
Three new pieces of information have just come in here to our bureau. The first one is perhaps the most important. According to an Israeli source familiar with Israel's planning, quote, "This is not a one-day attack." And Israel is planning for multiple waves of attack. So what we're seeing now, and there are some reports of explosions coming out of Iran, this perhaps just the beginning, according to an Israeli source who says this is not simply a one-and-done operation, and there will be more attacks in the hours, potentially it seems the days ahead. Again, that Israeli source saying, quote, "This is not a one-day attack." In terms of the timing of it here, the Israeli government saw a window of opportunity to carry out this attack, both militarily and diplomatically.
So the war with Iran is already in full swing, and some major blows have already been dealt. Folks, this is way bigger than just a few airstrikes, which, by the way, the airstrikes are still ongoing, and Israel has confirmed they will happen in waves, and they will be going on for days on end. But it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. The commander-in-chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the commander-in-chief of Iran's military, has already been eliminated, according to Israel. Because not only are they striking nuclear sites and military bases, they're also striking residential areas where top leaders and commanders in the Iranian army live. But not just that, folks. They are sending missiles through the bedroom windows of nuclear scientists. There are penthouses in Iran that are just, you can see like the top floors are just blown out because they are striking the freaking nuclear scientists that are supposedly, I guess, helping with Iran's nuclear program. And within just like the first 45 minutes of this war with Iran, top military officials are already out of there. Nuclear scientists are already out of there. This is some really crazy stuff, folks. Let's go ahead and play this clip really quickly, and then I'll be right back.
First, Caitlin, something I just heard from a senior Israeli official who says that according to Israeli assessments, there are very high chances that the entire Iranian general staff, including the head of the Iranian general staff of the Iranian military, and several senior Iranian nuclear scientists were all eliminated in the Israeli strikes tonight. I hear that again from a senior Israeli official who says that several senior top Iranian military commanders, including the head of the general staff of the Iranian military and senior nuclear scientists, have all been targeted in those strikes. And according to IDF assessments, there's a high chance that they've been eliminated.
I mean, that is really striking intelligence, if that is accurate.
And all of that is not even the craziest part, folks. Apparently, Mossad is on the ground. They have Mossad agents, okay? Secret agents on the ground in Iran that have been embedded in Iran for a while. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm excited here. I'm not excited because I'm glad we're going to war with Iran. I don't want this to happen. I didn't want this to happen, but it's too late now. Anyways, they have Mossad agents on the ground in Iran that have also been carrying out on-the-ground assassinations on top military officials and nuclear scientists. And they've also been sabotaging some of Iran's missile defense systems and stuff like that. Also jamming their internet, cyber attacks. This is a very, very intricate attack, folks. And it's going to be going on for days. That has already been confirmed. And of course, Netanyahu addressed the nation. He addressed the nation of Israel. Let's go ahead and take a look at that clip, shall we?
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Today, the Jewish state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear Holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. Now, as Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. Iran is gearing up to produce 10,000 of those ballistic missiles within 3 years. Now just imagine 10,000 tons of TNT landing on a country the size of New Jersey. This is an intolerable threat. It too must be stopped. Iran is now working on what it calls the new plan to destroy Israel. You see, the old plan failed. Iran and its proxies tried to encircle Israel with a ring of fire and to attack us with the horrible attack of October 7th. But the people of Israel, the soldiers of Israel, rose like lions to defend our country. We crushed Hamas, we devastated Hezbollah, we hit Iranian proxies in Syria and Yemen. And when Iran directly attacked us twice last year, we struck back inside Iran itself. Yet in defending ourselves, we also defend others. We defend our Arab neighbors. They too have suffered from Iran's campaign of chaos and carnage. Our actions against Iran's proxy Hezbollah led to the establishment of a new government in Lebanon and the collapse of Assad's murderous regime in Syria. The peoples of those two countries now have a chance for a different future, a better future. So too do the brave people of Iran, and I have a message for them. Our fight is not with you. Our fight is with the brutal dictatorship that has oppressed you for 46 years. I believe that the day of your liberation is near. And when that happens, the great friendship between our two ancient peoples will flourish once again. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America. Remember, Iran calls Israel the small Satan. It calls America the great Satan. And this is why for decades it's led millions in the chants of death to Israel and death to America. Today, Israel is responding to those genocidal calls with action and with a call of our own. Long live Israel and long live America. Our action will help make the world a much safer place. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership in confronting Iran's nuclear weapons program. He has made clear time and again that Iran cannot have a nuclear enrichment program. Today, it is clear that Iran is just buying for time. It refuses to agree to this basic requirement of peaceful nations. That is why we have no choice but to act, and act now. The hardest decision any leader has to make is to thwart a danger before it is fully materialized. Nearly a century ago, facing the Nazis, a generation of leaders failed to act in time. They were paralyzed by the horrors of World War I. They were determined to avoid war at all costs, and they got the worst war ever. They adopted a policy of appeasement. They closed their eyes and ears to all the warning signs. That failure to act resulted in World War II, the deadliest war in history. It claimed the lives of 60 million, including 6 million Jews, a third of my people. After that war, the Jewish people and the Jewish state vowed, never again. Well, never again is now. Today, Israel has shown that we have learned the lessons of history. When enemies vow to destroy you, believe them. When enemies build weapons of mass death, stop them. As the Bible teaches us, when someone comes to kill you, rise and act first. This is exactly what Israel has done today. We have risen like lions to defend ourselves. Over 3,000 years ago, Moses gave the people of Israel a message that has steeled their resolve ever since. Be strong and courageous, he said. Today, our strong and courageous soldiers and people stand together to defend ourselves against those who seek our destruction. And by defending ourselves, we defend many others, and we roll back a murderous tyranny. Generations from now, history will record that our generation stood its ground, acted in time, and secured our common future. May God bless Israel. May God bless the forces of civilization everywhere. Thank you.
So, of course, the claim is the reason why they're attacking Iran, they say, is because Iran is days away or hours away from a nuclear weapon. And look, I'm not going to tell you that that is not true, because who am I to say? I know they got a lot of stuff going on underground in Iran. They've been moving a lot of stuff underground. I'm not saying I trust Iran by any stretch of the means, but they've been saying this for as long as I can remember, for as long as I've been alive. Iran is one step away from a nuclear weapon. Okay? They've been saying it since the 90s. So, I mean, it's kind of like a cry wolf situation. Now, am I supposed... You said that Iran was years away or months away and weeks away from a nuclear weapon for the entirety of my life. So, who's to say they're telling the truth here? Either way, they finally got their way. They finally are striking Iran, and there's a lot of warmongers here in the U.S. that are really excited about it. But this is what is rubbing me the wrong way. When these strikes first began, Israel refused to confirm if the U.S. was involved in these strikes or not. They refused to confirm. So Marco Rubio had to come out and release this statement claiming that the U.S. is not involved in this at all. Now, if the U.S. is not involved, I'm sure we are, I feel like Israel should have just stated that. But at first, they were purposely kind of just being, who knows? They kind of refused to answer that question. And that makes me feel like they're even, further trying to drag us into this. And of course, we already know that's what's happening, but it's kind of like a blatant show. Like, hey, yeah, of course we're trying to drag the U.S. We refuse to answer the question if the U.S. is involved. But here's what Marco Rubio said. Tonight, Israel took unilateral action against Iran. We are not involved in strikes against Iran, and our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. Israel advised us that they believe this action was necessary for its self-defense. President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces and remain in close contact with our regional partners. Let me be clear. Iran should not target U.S. interests or personnel. Well, folks, let me give you a little spoiler warning. Israel, of course, is going to be targeted by Iran. Of course, Iran's going to have to strike Israel back, but Iran is definitely going to strike out at U.S. bases in the Middle East. And once they do, then of course we're going to have to come rolling in as well. I think we are past the point, and I had a long conversation about this about a year ago. For years, there's been bluffing, there's been posturing, and nothing ever really happens, right? There's a meme out there. Nothing ever really happens, right? There's the warnings about World War III. There's the warnings about nuclear war. There's the warnings about this, the warnings about that, but nothing ever really happens. We're past that point in the world. We're at the point now where things really do happen. You know what I mean? The whole world really did get locked down a few years ago, and everyone just acts like that never happened now. Russia really did invade Ukraine, and the war is still really raging. And of course, Europe and NATO are helping Ukraine, and of course it's really a proxy war. All of that's really happening. The war with Iran, something that's been on the horizon for decades. Something that we've been warned about, something that we've talked about, but nothing really happened. Well, folks, tonight it happened. We're past the nothing really happens phase. We're at the part where things start happening. And where we go from here, who knows? But I can tell you it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And they're going to figure out ways to drag the U.S. further and further into this conflict. It's not going to just last a couple of days. But as of right now, if all the information that is coming out, if all of this information is true, this is a devastating attack. And this is just the initial wave. If in the initial wave of their attack on Iran, they have already taken out all of the leadership within the military, and they've taken out most of the prominent nuclear scientists like that, you know, they're going to have to respond in a big, big way. But we'll see. I'm going to keep my eyes on it. Right now, you guys let me know what you think down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next video.